What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. It is a beautiful day here in California, and we watched a terrific movie this week. First of all, hey Groot, sitting here with Groot, my man. Here, I don't mean to be so risque. Boom. Groot and I love to sit and review these films for this club right here. Maybe this is your first time checking it out. This is the Filmstruck Film Club. Every week, I pick a movie and we watch it. And similar to a book club, we watch it the same week. And you're more than welcome to hit me with some comments and some thoughts of your own on what you thought of the film and anything like that. We, for the month of March, have been celebrating films directed by women. And we have watched some truly incredible films this month from all over the place. The Czech New Wave, the French New Wave. We watched a film from Africa. And now this week we watched 1971's feature film debut, directorial debut, however you say it, Elaine May's comedy, A New Leaf. Elaine May is someone that we have watched one of her... first of all, she's an incredible human being with just the greatest resume, and she deserves probably a biopic about her life, but no one would be able to like really live up to just how great this woman is. She started off as part of the comic duo Nichols and May with Mike Nichols. Yes, that Mike Nichols. And they were a very, very popular, very successful Broadway comedy duo. They're even like loosely referenced in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel if you watch that show. But yeah, just a comic force to be reckoned with. A terrific actress in her own right. She does act in this film, A New Leaf. But we watched a film of hers over a year ago now. We watched Mikey and Nicky, the lone drama, the lone drama of her 4 films that she directed. Mikey and Nicky is great. You should definitely check that out for totally separate reasons. But as far as films directed by women go, Mikey and Nicky, I mean, even regardless of the gender element, Mikey and Nicky is one of the better films you're likely to watch. So you should watch that. Peter Falk, John Cassavetes, 2 like kind of bumbling mafia guys. It's great. But A New Leaf is something entirely different. It is a comedy. It is written and directed and starring Elaine May, also starring Walter Matthau. I grew up loving Walter Matthau. Maybe if you are my age or younger, maybe you only really know him as Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. But this guy has a very, very long career as well. He's, what is it, Oscar? Felix Unger and Oscar, I'm forgetting his last name, but from The Odd Couple. Anyway, Walter Matthau is a class act. And in this film, he plays a very rich guy who is now no longer a very rich guy. He finds out right at the beginning of the film that he's broke. And it's actually a hilarious scene with William Redfield, who I recognized immediately from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but he plays the accountant or the lawyer to Walter's character, Henry Graham. And there's just a great exchange between the two of them where he's trying to tell Henry that he's broke, he has no money, and Henry just cannot compute that. This film, it sits with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, critics liked it. If you want to dive in yourself, Roger Ebert's review of this film is a great read. It's short. He gave it 4 out of 4 stars. So Roger Ebert loved this movie. It was nominated for Best Picture, Musical or Comedy at the Golden Globes. In 2019, it was chosen for the National Film Registry, which is a big deal. So this film has been restored and is now kind of more available than it's been for a long, long time. It's on the Criterion Channel right now. But yeah, Elaine May, you guys, I watched this thing this morning. She spoke at the Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony thing for Mike Nichols at the AFI in 2010, and she gave such a hilarious speech. Just look that up. Just look up Elaine May, AFI, Mike Nichols, Lifetime Achievement. You'll have a blast. She is such a dream lady. And you know what? She also I'm going to keep tooting her horn. She's like still a badass. She won a competitive acting Tony in 2019. So the same year that this film was put into the National Film Registry, she's up there getting a Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Play for the Waverly Gallery, which was written by Kenneth Lonergan, terrific writer. Manchester by the Sea. See, he's good. But her speech at the Tonys was hilarious, and if you look that up, you'll be like, oh, I remember that lady. But I digress. Yeah, this film reminded me a little bit of the storyline of the musical A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which is based on Kind Hearts and Coronet, an old Ealing picture starring Alec Guinness. But this Walter Matthau's character in this film, he gets this idea that, okay, to get some money, I got to marry somebody who's wealthy and, you know, maybe has no parents or siblings or anything. I need to find this rich lady. I need to marry her. I need to murder her and take her money. That's his plan. That's what we're gearing up for this film. There's a great little showdown between Walter Matthau and his uncle, who is a very funny character. There's several funny, like, just small, you know, one or two scene characters sprinkled throughout this film. We'll get to them, but yeah, he gets this idea that he's got to marry this lady. He borrows some money from his uncle, and he's given a time limit to, you know, pay him back. Blah blah blah. He finds the perfect candidate in Elaine May's Henrietta. She is a very clumsy, very awkward, you know, isolated young lady. She's a botanist, and her dream, we find out, is to gain immortality through naming a plant. Because if you discover a species of plant, it gets named after you, like Mr. Brussels and his sprouts. That comes up a couple times. But watching Walter Matthau try to navigate fooling this woman into falling in love with him so that he can marry her, it's a very clumsy attempt. The whole time you're just like, there's no way this lady is not seeing directly through his shenanigans. Even her lawyer, who's been trying to get her money this whole time as well, is very suspect of Henry and does not appreciate that he's coming in here to take the money from this woman that he's been playing this whole time. We also find out that he's kind of in cahoots with the entire servant staff at her house, her massive estate. Her head, her head maid is even played by Doris Roberts, who I also recognized immediately as the grandma from Grandma's Boy, and also the mom in Everybody Loves Raymond, but as the grandma in Grandma's Boy. Yeah, Jack Weston as McPherson. Look at that, there's sirens. It's like I'm back in New York, baby. Woo! I hope everybody's okay. Anyway, yeah, there's so many funny parts in this movie. There's, I will say, the part that I really wanted to be in a movie theater in a full audience for was on their honeymoon when she is trapped in her Grecian nightgown. Her head is in the armhole, and we take like 2-3 minutes of the two of them like trying to get her head in the right spot and her arm in the right spot, and you keep thinking that maybe she's gonna like wind up naked, and so it's like it's got a bit of danger in the scene for 1971, and also just a ton of humor. I was laughing my ass off, and I was like, this probably played pretty well in a movie theater. I could imagine people just crying in the audience laughing. This film was famously kind of mishandled by the studio. I guess originally it was around 3 hours long. It involved 2 murders that are not in the film, a whole fantasy sequence. Elaine May was not happy with the cuts that they made to this picture, and even though the hour and 40-minute cut is the one that was released and actually was pretty well received, she was not happy with it ever. So it would be lovely to sit down with her and really get all the nitty-gritty details about what exactly went down with that. But it's a very common tale, especially for that time where studios are just hijacking people's films. There's a great story about how she like stole the working negative of Mikey and Nicky so that they couldn't recut it without her, and great story, but for another day. In this one, she lost that battle, and there's a whole hour and a half of this movie that you'll never get to see. But yeah, I mean, there are some things, it's a little dated, right? Not like there aren't like super racist jokes or things like that. It's not like overly sexist and super out of sync with today's standards. But just like maybe some of the pacing is a little bit more old school, a little more old fashioned. So for a younger audience who's maybe not familiar with this kind of movie, you may be like, was it that funny? But trust me, when it came out, I bet it was funny as shit. And Walter Matthau, really, it was so nice to see a role of his that I'd never seen before. Because I guess I've seen him in a couple of the same things like over and over again. So it was nice to get this new addition to my appreciation for Walter Matthau, and also just my growing appreciation for Elaine May. I can't get enough of her at this point. And I'm so pleased that she's still around and still winning. She's still a total badass. Hope I run into her on the street. Maybe she watches this video. Hi, Elaine. Love you. You're the best. Yeah, I won't spoil it, but the ending is quite sweet. I was wondering where this movie is going for so long, you kind of start to wonder, how on earth is this going to end? Are we going to go in this really dark murder spree element of this story? But what we do wind up with, I don't know. It worked for me. I really appreciated it. And I wonder how much of it is from the short story, The Green Heart. Have not read the short story, but I wonder if the ending is the same in that, or if Elaine May's, her female eye, was able to kind of make a new ending. I really don't know. All I know is the ending that we do have, I really enjoyed. Yeah, that short story, The Green Heart. I'll probably check that out. While I was watching this movie, I was like, this kind of feels like it could be a musical. I wonder if it is a musical. And of course, it was an off-Broadway musical in 1997 called The Green Heart, based on the short story, not really this film. So, yeah, that's it. Honestly, go check out A New Leaf. It is on Criterion Channel, and it's worth it. It's worth it. If you're like me and you're around your parents, it's a good one to throw on with your parents. They'll love it. You'll love it. I'll love it. We love it. Groot loved it. Anyway, I'll have a new pick for us real soon. Go ahead and follow us at Filmstruck Film Club, so you can keep up with all those weekly picks and any updates of any kind. But yeah, we're gonna keep on rolling. So hope you enjoy the film, and come on back. We'll do this again next week. Say goodbye, Groot. Goodbye, Groot. Peace. One last little thing before I go. There was actually a really great treat for me in that film. Graham Jarvis plays Bo, who's the guy who's got trouble with the fungus on his trees. He is a marvelous actor who passed away several years ago now, and his wife Joanna is still around. She's still a beauty. Oh man, love whenever I get to see her. But I actually got to inherit a couple of his books, his acting books, some of the plays. I have them, and so it's just really nice. Maybe if you ever watched Seventh Heaven, he was the grandpa on Seventh Heaven. But he's a marvelous actor, and we miss him terribly. But it was really nice to see him on screen in this film. So, hi, Graham. Thank you. It was great to see you. All right, bye for real.